It's a podcast from Steam Powered Giraffe. It's the Bennettarium. Oh, we haven't had Bunny and Brian on the podcast together in a while on the Bennettarium. Oh boy, it's the Bennettarium. Ladies and gentlemen and beautiful creatures far and wide, welcome to the Bennettarium, the only podcast made by the creators of Steam Powered Giraffe. And we are the Bennettarium Cadets. Damn it.
Hi, close.
I'm Isabella Bunny Bennett, and I play Rabbit and GT the Giraffe and others.
My name is Brian David Barbrin Bennett, and I play
He's the third
Zero the Giraffe as well.
My name's David Michael Bennett, and I play the Spine from Cameo.com.
What? Are you on Cameo?
I'm on Cameo.
Like, is the Spine on Cameo, or are you on
No,
Cameo?
I am, but I do the Spine's voice.
You're pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now accepting booking requests, me, Isabella, and Mike.
Not me.
Oh, what, you don't have enough jobs already?
You can't find me unless you go look for me. Then very easy to find.
So today is a very special episode of Steam Powered Giraffe presents the Bennettarium.
We have a lot to talk about.
Are we finally gonna do that rock paper scissors contest that we're talking about?
We are. We're gonna do that
Next week, next month,
next month.
Next
I've been
episode.
training.
We have there's been a lot of news about video games.
What? Like what?
Video games.
How about you wait till the game zone?
We'll wait for the game zone. Right. We have a lot to talk about the hot topics of the hour. It was rapid fire hot seat or something.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what?
Well, I don't know. New section we're coming up with.
Oh my goodness.
We're gonna talk about bidets.
Okay. And we also have
bidets and badon'ts. Oh, I like this section already.
And
And then we have 30 Bennettarium questions.
mostly 30 Bennettarium questions. So
And those, you know what? We've gotten a lot more questions now that our Patreons. That's a perk is to get, because usually we try to pull questions from like the live chat, but it's not as. But now that people can like do it and think about it over the month course of a month.
Some very stop and think about them questions.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I can't stop and think about anything.
Yeah.
We're on a podcast. We don't have time to think.
So why don't
That's why we're going to install those treadmill chairs.
Are we really?
So
So why don't we catch up with
How long is
everyone?
this
It's been a
podcast?
while. What have you been up to, Brian?
Well, I've been.
Brian, what have you been up to?
Brian, what have you been up to? Well, Brian, I've been on the because
How's that going for you?
most, and then because of
But you took a break, right?
I tried to, but I was
It's always nice to treat yourself once in a while.
but I have no treats because of.
You just got to keep on keeping on. That's how they say.
Anyways, how you been, buddy?
Well, I finally. Well,
this was the first time, right?
Yeah, I mean, we did it, and it was really.
That's a big step. you
Yeah,
know?
I mean, ever since I was.
Yeah. I know.
Very inspiring too.
Well, I mean, David, you would know you were there. I mean,
Yeah, what have you been up to?
Well, because of that, I had the
As you do.
right, but there's never a good time to.
Well, yeah. Well, you don't want to. You don't want to invite them over. You
Hey,
know.
March is almost over.
Yeah.
But you know what? Start of the new year, a few
Yeah.
months ago.
Yeah.
And all I'm saying is today is now.
And that's going good for you, yeah.
And now is today.
Well,
Right, keep on rocking in the free world, as they say.
Wow.
Well, everyone's we're all cut up.
Now we're gonna go to you, the viewer. Just scream at your
Screen.
iPod
Or
your car radio
Wow.
or your screen. Just tell us what you're.
Why would she say that to you? What a mean person she must be.
I'm sorry that happened.
I'm on your side. We're
I
here for
agree.
you.
That's chronic now.
Hey, if they were here right now, I'd slap them in the face for you. I would.
I'd punch him.
You should probably go to the doctors.
We love you. All right. Anyways,
I think we're on to our first question. And since Bunny's the question
All right.
Can you do a different voice for each question?
Sure.
Okay.
This one.
Make sure you vet all the questions because I saw a few that we might not be comfortable answering. Some of them were like cheat codes for Sonic the Hedgehog.
Whoa. Who's cheating?
There was a big lawsuit with the Game Genie.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
We're not going to do that. Okay, the first one's from Hope. Brian, what's a Cactus Cooler?
Oh, a Cactus Cooler. Well, Cactus Cooler is an old-timey drink from the 90s. A Cactus Cooler is actually an orange and pineapple soda with cactuses on it in an orange thingy that you can only find maybe at your local Kmart in the back next to the pile of like soda syrup.
Are there any Kmarts left?
There's one Kmart left and there's one thing of Cactus Cooler in there. Or you can go on Amazon and order Cactus Cooler.
It used to be my favorite drink.
Really?
Yeah.
It like made my mouth hot. Is that weird?
Well, pineapple's the only fruit that eats you back.
Eats you back.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it was. Like I would on a hot summer day. Well, drinking soda on a hot summer day is always the worst, anyways. But like you drink it, you're like, it burns.
A hot Cactus Cooler is also the worst.
Oh my god.
Well, excellent. Let's move on to our next things that I can Google.
Okay. Abby.
That was see that I was
I
throwing
see
some
what
shade.
you did.
I was throwing some shade to our.
I saw the shade.
To our lovely Patreon.
I've seen it.
Oh, Engineer Tears.
That's why I wore this hat.
Don't worry, we didn't forget about you.
No.
You're out there on the interweb somewhere.
Wait, who?
Wait, we did. You said don't even talk about them. You were like, forget about those people, and we're like, no. Let's remember.
Our next question comes from Abby. If a big name producer approached you with a record deal, would you find it easier or more difficult to give up some of your control and responsibilities over to content, music, and merchandising?
How much money are we talking about? Because there's a limit. If it's not a lot, then of course not.
Are we talking Rick Rubio?
Abby doesn't say. Abby doesn't say.
I think we're just waiting to sell out at this point. I mean, we've been going 11 years now.
We've been studying a book to how to spot like a good producer.
You gotta make sure they're carrying the briefcase.
Yes.
Or a giant bag with a dollar bill on it.
Look for the ponytail in the back.
Sign on it.
The thickness of the briefcase could
The book
mean
might
that
be a little
there's-
outdated.
Those Cuban cigars.
Yeah.
Those are.
Look for the white
dead
shoes
giveaway.
in the suit.
Make sure that there's sunglasses.
If there's a spring in his step.
If there's a cigar in his hand.
Yeah.
All these things are helpful in catching a record producer.
But before we
also,
do
a
that,
box
we have
and a
to go
string.
and delete all of our Twitter tweets
forever.
forever.
I mean,
and ever.
the archives of
I also have to go take care of some people just in case they remember things that I've said in the past.
But if we do get in trouble, we'll be able to make a Suicide Squad movie before we get to go back to Marvel.
at least, which characters would you use if you had a Suicide Squad movie?
I've never read Suicide Squad.
Suicide.
Suicide. I would probably use
Yeah.
the Sky Guys as well.
Just villains.
AJ asks, are you planning on adding more items to your online store? Maybe slogan t-shirts or plushies? Would you be able to afford the kind of expansion, or is it another case of having the demand to meet the amount of inventory you buy?
Well, we just recently launched, maybe in the last, I think it was in November last year or so. Teespring. We have a Teespring store, and that's basically where we're going to put stuff that we can't keep in stock. And it's just, even though we don't make much money off of it, we make a little bit, but it's like print on demand stuff. We can throw artwork and stuff like that. But I mean, as you can see, you can see a few boxes back there. Like, we're a very small operation, and we're not like shipping things out all the time unless we have a new album coming out. So
maybe I should look at some of the art that I have over the years. There might be a cool design that we could put on Teespring.
Sure, yeah. But as far as like making merchandise ourselves, I mean, we don't have the kind of numbers to do more than like a few items. That's why we do pre-orders for the vinyls.
But if you want a steam-powered giraffe throw pillow, Teespring.
Yeah, actually, we have it. Brian, you want to get that? Do you know Step Stool?
Well, don't worry. We'll you can hear it too.
So for those of you who are Patreon patrons or Engineer Tiers and are watching the archive video of this or live, Brian has a big giant thing of bubble wrap.
Can you hear it? Can you hear the?
We're gonna become an ALS.
ASMR.
ALS is American Sign Language. Nope, that's not even the acronym.
You gotta rub it up against the microphone so they can hear it.
So we ordered our own product just to see, like, before we put them up, we ordered one of everything, I think, just to make sure that the quality was okay. And we're like, yeah, I mean, it's decent. It's decent.
And look at the logo on the back.
Yeah, it's got you know, they're decent. If you have everything, Teespring, you can find it on our online store, www.steampoweredgiraffe.com, and then click store button, or spgiraffestore.com. You know, a lot of different links for that. And you'll find the Teespring link inside that store, and then you can find the Walter Robotics T-shirt, stuff like that. Stuff we cannot store in my apartment, and you know, we're not big enough to keep.
What a great question.
Ourselves.
We'd love to sell you some merchandise.
As far as plushes, probably not, because you know that's super expensive.
This next one's from Mitch. Mitch asked, "What is your opinion on the cosplayers that cosplay you guys?"
Oh my goodness! If those cosplayers ever cosplay me again, I'd be like, sweet.
Well, it's kind of like why aren't these people coming up with their own original characters from animes? They could just say, "I'm Buster Sword Boy," and
I mean, they could just dress up as Batman.
I'm
too.
Knife Hand Girl.
I mean, how many cosplayers are out there making their own costumes and then acting like it's from another anime? Because
Two. Yeah.
Two that you know of?
2 in the world.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay, because those are my favorite people.
I don't know why people would not want to be Batman. If I had a choice between cosplaying me or Batman, I would choose Batman.
Oh, Batman.
I don't know why.
Sure. I mean, that's obvious. But I guess, you know, I think there's laws when you go into conventions that there can only be so many Batmans.
Or it's like we're at Batman
Well,
capacity.
there can only be 12 Batmans.
So, you know,
What if you're like a gender-
13th Batman,
What if you're like a gender swap Batman?
I think they also have
Does that
limits on
count?
those too.
Yeah,
So, but-
any Batman or
But no
Batman
one-
like...
Most people want to be Batman. So
Even-
you know,
even-
What about Batwoman? Can
What
you be
about-
is that its own category?
I don't know. I don't run a convention.
No, here's
Bro.
where we're getting in trouble, is that a lot of times they count Man-Bat as Batman. It's not the same thing. They just have the same words.
Maybe that's pretty sweet though.
Yeah.
Well, you are a wordsmith. You want to drop some lyrics on us?
Yes, of course.
Can you get your hammer out of my way?
Oh, what?
Your hammer's touching my
Hold on.
elbow.
No, I'm making my words right now.
I said wordsmith, not John Henry.
John Henry, he could hammer.
Okay,
he could
so how do you
sing.
make words?
What?
You make words with a hammer.
And an anvil.
John Henry was trying to beat the railroad machine.
And he did, and then he died.
He did?
Yes,
I remember him
he
dying.
did, and he died
Because he-
And then they buried him.
Didn't he won though?
He won, and he died. Like that's the story of John Henry. Like he worked so hard that the steam broke down, and he died.
What was that movie that did it where they had like...
Oh, Tall Tales.
Tails.
It was weird
Yes,
that,
with
that
Paul
Paul
Bunyan.
Bunyan was very small.
Yes, I agree. And
was
wasn't
dumb. Was he even
Oliver,
big?
Wasn't Oliver Platt or something like that?
Wait, he wasn't even giant.
No,
No.
but that was the whole thing. He was like, I'm trying to get big again. I can't get big.
Did he ever get big?
Because it's like no one believed that they were actually the Tall Tales. So they had like, what's that?
I'm going to have to watch that movie
Like,
again.
Pecos Bill.
He was like-
who lassoed the tornado. That John Henry, that Paul Bunyan.
Was Calamity Jane?
Calamity
in there?
Jane.
Calamity Jane.
Just
And
rode a giant catfish.
Can't remember. If
I'm
she
sure
wrote
David
Giant
Crockett popped up at some point and was like, I got a cool
He's
skin
not.
hat.
He's not. He actually wasn't a real person.
David Crockett was a real person. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
I
yeah.
don't think he's
Telltale.
part of Telltale.
Yeah, no, but
Did you-
what, really?
Also, his
Johnny Appleseed. Maybe it was
Did you
Johnny
know
Appleseed.
Johnny Appleseed was actually not when he was just spreading apple seeds? He wasn't feeding anyone
You make it sadder.
no, apples can't actually like the ones that you can eat. They're not. It's like a random thing that you have to like take time to like do stuff.
But
with.
you can make cider with it, and that was like a big thing.
Are you talking about grafting and stuff?
It's like the apples
Like
that you,
lemon
it's,
trees
It's
or
it's
lemon
not
trees.
as like just throw some apples and you get an apple tree. It's like the apples that'll grow will be like not ones you'd want to eat. Or something.
According to Red Dead Redemption, he also owned a lumber company, and he needed some help with some wolves. So that was a helpful historic fact that I just learned.
Anyways, thanks for that question.
Our next
real history dive right there for us.
Our next question comes from Proto Jones, and Proto Jones asks, "My mother asks, how do you guys figure out which songs to put in set lists for shows?" And as a side question for me, how much has the determining process changed over time? Park, zoo, to stage.
That was pretty good.
It was
voice,
pretty hard
by
to understand the
way.
question though when you were reading
I know,
it like that.
but like as you've
I
listened
already
back to it
deleted
down
it, so I forget what they just said.
in your head. So like, how do you?
I literally wasn't paying
I'm
attention.
gonna break it down. So like, how do you choose the songs for your set list, and then also like, how did the set list change from like the zoo to
Okay.
the stage to the?
Well, we started with
Stage.
the stage before the zoo, but we were still in our infancy.
Yeah, and when we did Balboa Park, our set lists were very more like we would talk about it like 5 minutes before we would go out and do it because we would take the shows would be 15 minutes long and then we'd take like 15-minute breaks.
We'd usually have 1 to 3 like 15-minute, 20-minute just set lists. and we'd mix it up through the day depending on how we were feeling, what we think what songs might.
Yeah, we never wrote down anything when we were doing
Yeah.
Balboa Park, but when we went to the zoo, we had to because it was 7 days a week, and there were 4 shows. So we had a rotating schedule, and eventually you just kind of learned it, even though it was a lot.
But after the zoo, like all that, like I guess it made it. I don't know. I guess it got us good at improvising, and but by the time we started doing shows afterwards, that's when we started really like building these good set lists that kind of had stories and themes going through.
Yeah,
it.
because once you do a show, then people are like, well, they want to hear your hits, the ones that they know. Or
we were definitely like after the zoo, we wanted to go back to more of the Balboa Park stuff and put in some more bits and like comedy and the talking. So we did a lot of that, created some new stuff.
Anywho, yeah. So does that answer the question that we can't reference again?
Yeah, I think it did. I think good job, everyone.
Guess there's no proof. No one can deny it.
Kelsey asks, "What do you all do with all the gifts you get from fans, especially the art? I can't imagine you were able to keep everything. Otherwise, your whole house would probably be overflowing with it."
So we've been doing Steam Power Draft for 11 years and a few change, but and we've been getting fan art since the inception of it too. Maybe not the first week or something, but there's always.
When
been
did Inception come out?
I don't know. I have no idea. But yeah, so when we did it at the zoo, that was the easiest thing because people would
When we
give it to us.
when he did it at a zoo.
Yeah. What?
That's what it kind of sounded like.
What did it sound like to you,
When we
Ryan?
did it at a zoo.
What's that movie starring Kevin James? Wait, not Kevin James.
Zookeeper.
They bought a zoo. Starring Matt Damon.
We bought a zoo.
They own a zoo.
I am a zoo.
And then wait. In that movie, is Kevin James the zookeeper?
No, that's Zookeeper.
The funny thing is,
Have you seen that movie?
No, but
Can you deny it?
because it came out and they had
Yeah, I
ads
did see
at
We
the
Bought a
zoo.
Zoo. I haven't seen Zookeeper.
Zookeeper came out when we were performing at the zoo, and there were
Really?
ads at the zoo.
And then the next year, I think there was like Zookeeper 2. When they had ads.
No.
There was no Zookeeper 2.
There was.
I don't know. About
Kevin
that.
James just had a string of like, what? How do they make these movies?
I remember the person
With
who hired
cameras.
us. It was like, oh, you guys. I remember the guy that hired us for the zoo, or back in the day. He was like, oh, did you go see the new Zookeeper movie? I saw it with my son, and it was pretty funny. And I'm like, sure it was. Sure, that was hilarious. I remember thinking that. Not that I didn't have respect for the person. I'm just saying.
Should we watch it?
I didn't.
Should we watch it?
No.
Come on.
So the question,
Come on.
to answer your question, I forgot your question.
The gifts, we try to keep as many as we can. If not, we archive them in photos.
During the zoo, we had a board because we knew we couldn't save all of them. I mean, we started making like photo albums with them, but that was impossible because eventually it was just like so much physical stuff.
So we take pictures, and also we at shows we ask people, "Are you sure you want us to have it?" Because once we have it, it's up to us what we would do with it. But
but if you want to hear the sad stories of the things that don't make it back, like I always recount the time in one of our shows in Texas. I don't know, but like 10 people all thought it would be great to give us giant stuffed animals. And like I feel like some of them thought we were going to be able to take them back in our luggage or something. And like, look, even if we sell like 100 CDs at a show,
It wouldn't fit.
It's not going to fit
Yeah.
even one stuffed animal in there.
I took my stuffed animal.
But yeah,
I managed to make it work.
so we
but it was
left
hard.
them with. Sorry, a window open and there's a motorcycle rally going on. But
I don't know if they can hear that.
maybe I don't know. Maybe
But yeah, we try to keep as many. We try to keep as many gifts as
we
we
let
can.
the hotel. Was happy to take them off our hands.
What if they weren't?
for something?
What if
They might leave it for a kid.
What if
who's
they
in there.
they left them at like the checkout?
Well,
and
we
then
had a plane to catch.
when-
We didn't have time to figure
when
out
they
what to do with
checked
them.
out, they saw them, and now they're very upset with you.
Here's a question for
And
David.
they had to ask you a question about it.
Question for David from Will. I'm running out of voices.
Is it Brian's time to start
Oh yeah, I
reading
can
some of
read
these?
a question.
One more voice.
Okay.
One more voice.
Get it.
Oh
Got it.
yeah, now that it was taken away from you, you're like,
I want
No, I got a good one.
Hey, silly question, but David,
Ah, damn it!
you don't like tea and you don't like coffee, but do you like hot chocolate?
Oh, got you.
I mean, I'll drink like throat coat tea, but that's more like an herbal tea.
Is that hot chocolate?
No, but I'm just saying, like, just to stomp on your question a little bit. Like, I'll drink that when in need.
You don't
but
like hot water?
I don't drink hot beverages for enjoyment. I drink them for necessity.
Whoa.
So hot chocolate is more like if someone made it for me, sure. But I'll never be like, I'm gonna go to the store and get hot chocolate.
What if it's like really cold outside, like wintry, and you just want something warm?
What if you really want to drink
That's never
something?
happened.
What if you
That's
really
never
want to drink something with two hands? Like, oh.
No.
What if you're ill?
I usually would take throat coat if I have
What
to talk or
if
something.
what if the hot chocolate saved your life?
Yeah, like what if $1 million for drinking the hot chocolate?
Yeah.
What about a coffee?
$1 million.
Oh, so
yes.
so you like hot chocolate?
Okay.
Oh, so you like hot
Let
chocolate?
me pose
Is that what
another
you're saying?
question. Is there something you wouldn't do for $1 million?
Yes, there's lots of things I wouldn't do. For
I wouldn't do
$1
something
million.
illegal.
Would you eat a tarantula?
How illegal?
a live one?
Yes.
But then wouldn't people be angry at me that I killed a tarantula?
Yes.
true.
Because they're
Yeah,
pretty
but you can pay those people off with $1 million.
What if the tarantula was racist?
If somehow a scientist could prove that, maybe. But a live tarantula.
Well, we'll get on it.
I don't think that would be very. It's just not
That would
humane.
suck.
It's not
I don't know
humane.
what.
Oh, he'd
what
be
I
so
would do.
big, it would take so many bites.
It's not.
He would bite you back for sure.
It's not
You
that.
gotta bite his head off first, otherwise he'll bite you back.
I don't think I would want.
I don't want to eat a live tarantula
Like-
for $1 million.
for even the
He's like,
for even that. It would just be like.
If
and
it was like
also-
something you could like pop in your mouth and swallow.
Because I've already eaten like bugs and stuff. So like,
Yeah.
Well, you have eaten bugs.
well, like dead ones, but
Uh-huh.
You mean like just off the floor?
like the
Like a cockroach?
like the cooked mealworms and stuff.
Where'd you eat
Oh
those?
yes.
So that's
Where'd
like
you eat those?
when we were doing the pirate
I don't remember that.
camp for
Oh, I don't want to eat those.
for schools. It was
Gross.
like they get them the powdered
Wait,
ones. They're
didn't-
like these ones are
It
ransom.
was
we talk
basically,
about this?
like
Like-
yeah, like it's like back in the day we used to eat bugs.
I don't know. Does it matter how you
It's like eat a
you make it? You're just like, yep, this is what you. Oh, well, I didn't have that. Accent.
We also did like
No matter what, no matter what.
cowboys. It's like
when you're out on the range, you don't.
Now we're at Lord of the Rings camp. Oh, when Frodo was
You think the kids care? The cowboys and pirates go right out the window when
We
you
ate
open
bugs.
up a open up a
eat a
container.
bug.
When you open up a container of ranch flavored mealworms,
It's alien camp.
They're like-
well, we've got a child species on this planet.
what? They weren't like paying us a bunch of money. It was just
Let's
literally
eat some
a
bugs.
day to.
Welcome to sports camp.
It was literally like. Oh,
Great protein.
what camp are you doing? Oh, we're doing animal camp, like cowboys work. We'll bring some mealworms for the
We'll talk
kids.
about horses. Oh God.
We already.
Oh
this
my
is probably on a
gosh.
Bennettarium.
I think we did this
Oh,
before. Well,
that's funny.
we all worked at children's camps and stuff, so we've eaten a lot of bugs.
Oh.
Except I
Is
never
that
did
is
it.
that the podcast episode?
Mealworms.
eat some bugs?
Have some bugs. All right, next.
Yar,
Wait,
eat
was-
some bugs.
Was that the question? What was the question?
I can't remember.
Does anyone really remember?
You gotta delete it too once you're done with it.
Oh, wait, did you delete it?
I deleted it. Yeah, that's the next one.
Wait, what?
Mr. Spoons is
Technical difficulties.
See,
Sorry,
this
everyone.
is why we give it to
They're
me.
trying to figure out how to get the words from their eyes into their brain.
How do you read things again? Okay.
Why do you have this cognac glass?
I don't know. I thought it was
Are you
yours.
drinking vodka right now?
No, it's yes. Okay, I'm drinking vodka.
Mrs. Spoons, aka Bridget, says, does anyone in the band have green fingers or keep house
How come
plants at
everyone
all?
is most of our people are from the UK now at this point on
I
Patreon.
didn't use a
So
accent.
now you're actually kind of, you weren't? Didn't?
No.
Okay. What were you? What,
I don't keep
I was
houseplants.
just talking,
I thought there was a
I
little-
was just talking like this.
like an English accent.
I think I grew some grass for my cat once. That's about it.
Nope, not me. I don't need to take care of anything.
I've got flowers in my house.
Do you take care of? Are you the green thumb or is it someone else?
My father likes flowers, and so now I like flowers sometimes.
So you all have to water it.
Yeah, but they're not my plants, so
So what you're saying is you don't have a green thumb.
I do have a green thumb.
You have
but
someone else's green thumb.
I have someone else's green thumb.
I see. Not the
I,
same.
I inherited the green thumb.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if anyone. There's no plants in this apartment.
Is this a joke question from you?
No. Here, I'll read it.
Oh, you'll read the question? What question could it possibly be?
Okay.
Why are you even reading it? Just know
This
it.
one
You
comes
memorize
from
it.
David.
Will the band ever offer free personal delivery to my house if I buy an album? I wouldn't mind paying an extra $5 or $10 to see the entire band in person deliver my album. You could offer free photos with the band while they are there, and probably for $1 or $2 more, a small 60-minute concert in the person's house too.
So that comes from a very
Do I delete that?
Very-
Is that
yes. Anyways,
why'd you do that? Just because you thought you were hilarious?
what? Whoever this David person is, that's a serious question. You know, we really want to offer that service. We really do. We really. I mean, when you think about it,
I forgot Hope's voice.
there's 7 of us.
To ask another question.
There's 7 of us, right? Give or take. I think, yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah.
Oh, I can answer this one.
And
Hope-
okay, so if someone buys
Are
an
you still
album
going?
for 15, yeah, I'm answering my question. And someone buys an album for what is it, $20, something with shipping and handling, 25 maybe, something like that. I don't know how much it is. I can't remember, but so that's about $5 to $7 for shipping. Minus off that, the profits from the band, the royalties have to go to the different people who are not in the band anymore. Maybe leaves us with like $5. Okay, so plane tickets for 7 people. Let's say we're going to New York or something. Okay, so about $6,000. Okay, so take that $5 and give that to the airline people at the counter. And even if we're taking nothing but carry-ons, they would turn us away.
Yes.
So as you see, even though we really want to do it,
Couldn't possibly.
there's just no way that we would ever be able to hand deliver it. And to put on a concert, well, I mean, yeah, I think that's reasonable. $1 to $2 for a concert? Sure.
I'll do it.
Sure. What about you, Bunny?
I mean, do I get the cash then, or is it like?
Oh, no,
they
it's going
Venmo
to take
me?
like 5 months after the fact for them to... We're going to send invoices every week.
That's my
And they're going to be like, hold on, I have to pay rent this month. And we'll be like,
Hope asks, is it true you will not be performing at the Bristol Renaissance Fair in Kenosha, Wisconsin this year? My dad keeps bugging me, and I heard you weren't going to be there.
you heard correct. We were not hired this year for any Ren fairs. It wasn't because of any particular reason. We just we're not on their billing.
Yeah.
Proto Jones asks, if the robots of SPG were surfers, would the spine surf alone? That's very specific.
Why?
I don't.
What happened to the voices?
You want to do some?
Yes.
So do some.
We already answered. You did that one. Okay, so what is it?
Well, the answer is yes. The spine would surf
Yes,
alone.
of course.
Yes.
Because I don't know.
What?
Why would I surf alone?
Why wouldn't you surf it alone? Is maybe the better question.
Wait, if it was the robots, wouldn't it be just a really long surfboard with all 3 robots on it?
Also,
Yeah, I
could
mean-
Kind of makes
In a
sense.
cartoon, yes, of course.
aren't we? But the robots weigh like tons, so like.
Yeah,
would
but
they-
we would have like it would be like a boat basically.
Yeah, have a
That'd be
propeller
like,
on the back.
that we like surf on and
Okay.
like run over people.
All right.
This one comes from AJ again. AJ.
Do any of you guys know any good steampunk movies?
What?
Books or games?
Are you in the
It
night?
seems like finding good ones is rare.
Wild Wild West, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. If you're
Wild
looking for
Wild
movies,
West.
There you go. The 2 movies that
they're
are
not
not
very
steampunk
good,
genre.
but they're all right.
What about books or games?
Books.
And I haven't read a book.
Oh wait, what's that one guy's book? Wait, hold on. I'm gonna look it up. You keep thinking.
There's a lot of self-published
Hellboy
steampunk
2 is very steampunky.
books on Amazon.
There's
can go-
TV series.
You can go read those romance novels but you change car for airship, and that's pretty much what they are. And Derringer to
What about
laser rifle.
games?
Games. Not any good
steampunk
ones.
games. I'm trying to think. Stuff
think-
that's like loosely steampunk.
Steam World games. The Steam
SteamWorld games.
The Love, Death, Robots is semi-steampunky.
That's cool.
It's really good. It's really good as well.
This one's for you, Brian. Do you want to read the
Oh, I get to
voice?
read it and answer it.
If you want. You vet it first. Take it to a veterinarian.
Oh, it says, we know you work quite a few jobs outside of SPG. Where do you get all the energy from? Corpus amounts of caffeine, souls of the innocent, blood sacrifice. Where does it all come from? I don't know. I just do it. I just got to do it. So I do it.
It's kind of like easy if you just keep going, right?
yeah, you just can't stop. Once you stop, you're like,
Can't stop, won't stop.
You start turning the Tin Man and you can't move. Yeah, I mean,
You're an inspiration.
You definitely fill a void. I feel like when I go into a group of people who like everyone's kind of like more mellow, that sometimes I can take a role of that.
yeah.
But when you're around, I'm like, okay, I can be the serious one.
You can sit back.
So Will
So you basically inject yourself where
Yeah.
I just kind of feel out a place.
Will asks, sorry about the second question, but do you ever get questioned about fan bots by people? who just barely know SPG. Like a person sees someone cosplaying their fan pot and assumes they're part of the band, and then asks you guys about it. I asked because when I cosplayed mine at an event, a few people thought I was actually a member of the band.
If you're gonna do it in a voice, just at least put A at the end. A.
Yeah, that does happen. Yeah, I mean, because especially like the quality of cosplay like can rival that of even some of our costumes.
Well, I mean, especially after a show when we're all sweaty, like sometimes it's like, I mean, unless you just saw the
cosplays
show.
do very very well. Yeah, and I guess maybe there's nothing you can really do about that except that's why we have badges and stuff to make sure that we're the right people.
Also, I don't think there's anyone like abusing that.
No.
Most people like they don't find out till later. Sometimes we've seen from a few pictures like, oh my god, I met the band. I'm like, that's not the band.
Some guy from Anime Midwest kept getting mistaken as me, but he was like the coolest guy ever. So that was nice.
But
I
also,
I got a picture with him.
I mean, we're not super. It's like if we ever got more popular, it'd be like people wouldn't even believe like. That's not Hugh Jackman.
Well, no, that's what happened at Dragon Con. That's what happened at Dragon Con. When we were walking around, people were like, you're not the spine.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever, because we were like getting ready for the show. And then you kept on being like, yeah, I'm not. Like, move on. Like, you couldn't possibly be. Like,
I mean, if people were going to ask me, I'd be like, you're not him, are you? I'm like, could be.
Yeah, could be anything. Yeah. That was kind of funny, though.
This next one, the question comes from Angela.
Sorry,
we know how to pronounce that now because we asked at one of these chats, Patreon chats. I'm running out of voices. Oh, yeah, I do pirate one like you did.
Hey, what about Jamaican? Jamaican pirate.
I don't feel comfortable.
Come on, Jamaican pirate.
No.
This is by Jamaicans.
You can do all the voices you want, Brian.
Okay.
But
all right, man.
rest of us?
Yeah, man. That's difficult. I'm sorry.
Roughly, how does it cost to create a record performance?
No, you were doing it. Do it.
Roughly, how much does it cost to create a recorded performance like Concierto Privado?
I was trying to do the Concierto Privado.
Vincent Price.
You kind of got a little Spanish in there.
I's recording a live show more or less expensive, yar.
Little Irish tilt in there.
I don't do too many. I don't do voices.
No,
the most expensive cost of.
I wasn't even listening to the question.
It's basically like when we film like Concierto Privado or the Denver show, like how much does it cost, or like what's the biggest expense is obviously just if there's renting the theater, like licensing fees or whatever.
Yeah, well, besides renting the theater, always a licensing fee of some sort, which is pretty expensive.
Concierto Privado we did on the cheap, except it took a long time to edit, so we did pay David, but that was it one of their cheaper ones.
Yeah, I mean we could do something like that but once again, if you want an audience, you have to rent a theater, you have to sell tickets, so blah blah blah. But also,
people show up.
But also, like we barely cover cost for like something like the Denver show, like so it was kind of like, well, we'll make our money back in a year or so. But the licensing, like we didn't sell that many digital videos of that, so you have to kind of weigh like once a year. Maybe it's worth it, but if you're not making a profit to cover even the costs of doing it, what's the point? But for us, it's because fans like it and stuff.
Yeah.
And we don't want to do Kickstarters and stuff for all that stuff. So it's kind of like, if we have the money, we'll sit on it. We'll sit on it until it covers the cost a year. But, people don't really buy videos. And if they do, it's not like albums.
Hope again says, apologizes. I'm going to do Vincent Price. Gotta warm it up.
There we go.
Hello. Brian, can we get some more info on Zero's house other than TV show?
That doesn't sound like him.
Some of us want to draw fan art and need inspiration.
Okay, here's my concept for Zero's house is that Zero's house every episode is like it's like a new cast of people who like go through something very emotional and traumatizing, and then Zero just walks in at the end and goes, "What are you doing in my house?" And then it's like,
like they pay you just for that appearance.
Yeah, just
and it's
like that's all it is.
$1 million
and like
a week.
the whole intro is like me, like Zero's house, Zero. It's like me and like all these like different
and one
things.
episode is like there's like a drug ring running out.
Yeah. It's like it's all really serious stuff,
we come
to like real serious conclusions, and at the end it's just like, what are you doing in my house?
Can we actually make a theme song of
Yes.
Zero's house.
Yes,
but
we can.
in the style of the
Full
90s.
House.
And like do like the
Step by
90s
step.
like slide in like slide in a square like an orange square and slide
Yeah.
in a zero, a squiggly line.
Angela says, Bunny, how often does sandwiches bring you tribute?
We'll get around to
Angela.
that.
What's the oddest thing? Loaf Cat once brought me a whole slipper. She's never brought me anything, so she needs to learn how to cat.
Ooh.
Wanna do the next one?
All right, I got one. Is it Mug Shorty? What's the hardest part about doing your makeup, respectively, and how do you work around it? Also, what utensils do you use to apply the makeup? Like, parentheses, a makeup brush, a paintbrush, a makeup pencil, etc. In parentheses. So, like, what's the hardest part about doing your makeup, and then, like, how do you work around it?
I think the metallic stuff is always pretty uncomfortable. And covering it up, once you get your face covered, then it gets easier.
Yeah, once the makeup's on, then you're done doing makeup.
I'm just like,
It's getting the makeup off. That is the hardest. for me.
Really? That's
Yes.
the best part.
Oh, it stains my forehead.
does, it
stains
does,
my
yeah.
forehead. Like
Yeah.
I've got a square on my forehead.
But I'm just so
for
relieved.
a week after. Yeah, but it's like,
What about that?
but like a week
week?
afterwards. I'm not even joking about that. Like
Soap.
A week.
Use soap.
Dude, I wash my face. Well, I wash it till it's like raw. Like it's
Don't do
like-
that.
I don't. But it's like I try
Yeah,
not to.
don't use soap.
I try not to. But yeah.
Don't.
Yeah, I think putting
Leave it on till next show.
Once you start getting halfway, it stops being so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's just covering your face and your pores and your
Yeah,
face is
imagine-
like screaming.
I mean, it's also time. Like if you're standing, put it on, or I don't know. It's extra time.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part.
It does
about
suck.
Plus you
makeup.
can't wipe your face.
Some
That
days I
sucks.
just don't want to put on makeup at all, and it's just like I have to force myself, and it sucks because.
Well, when you're getting paid to do it, it's a little easier.
Yeah.
yeah.
When you're doing it for any other reason, which Ed doesn't usually.
Ah, yes. All right, Five Heather has my favorite question so far. All pants or no pants?
What?
No pants.
All pants or no pants?
No pants. Can I choose skirts, dresses? I choose those.
Like if you had to live your whole life with all pants or no pants.
I don't. I
No
only
pants.
have pants, so I only own pants. But
So-
I only wear them when I have to go outside or have to or special
David's
occasion.
in all pants.
Like
You're
this.
no
No
pants.
pants.
I'm also in no pants. I would go no pants for the rest of my life.
What does that mean?
Underwear.
It's- the
or,
question
like,
doesn't have any
skirts or
other details.
Kilts?
No, it doesn't. It says all pants or no pants. All right, so I'm making up the extra, the little extra for the rest of your life.
All right.
I don't own any shorts.
How do I delete
I
these
only have
things?
pants.
You have to you hold them down.
Delete. Oh, oops. Oh no, I did it. Nope. Sorry.
But
You want to read?
You did it.
You're gonna have a good voice, David. Michael.
Can you
Okay.
do Scottish? Scottish is hard.
no, I'm just
Scottish
gonna,
is
I
really
haven't done a
hard.
high pitched one, so I'm just gonna do a high pitched.
Okay.
What? You're just gonna steal my voices?
There's only so many voices in the world. Hey, Robo asks,
Can you tell us any more about Rex Marksley as a character? He's my favorite hero of all the SPG songs.
Whoa.
And writing a story about him is hard, with little detail in the song.
Well, that's actually an appropriate voice for that question. I feel like.
well,
They're trying to write a novel.
based on your copywritten character.
Just
give him the- No, I like most of our hero songs.
It's all up for interpretation.
I've have like tons of story and stuff about them.
No.
It's all pretty dark and like M. Night Shyamalan twists.
Oh yes.
But there's no vehicle for that yet until we make a comic book of it. But it's the same with like everything. Like even the Vice Quadrant that's had more narrative. There's still more things that I'm like that we would have to want to say about it, but we don't because there's no. It's an album and it's you know what I mean. Yeah, I'm not gonna give it all
We
away.
have stories and stuff.
Like I already wrote a Rex Marksley sequel in my head.
What?
Don't you probably all do that too? with
now
your
we
own
all want to hear it.
characters.
Hey, next question. Hey, when are you releasing the Rex Marksley sequel?
That'd
Is
be-
it true that J.K. Rowling said that Rex Marksley is now gay?
no?
Isn't he gay though?
No,
Isn't that the thing?
that doesn't mention his.
It's canon that he's gay.
Why does it matter?
J.K. Rowling said so.
Nope.
It doesn't even.
Nope.
It has nothing to do.
You know what? Prove it by writing Rex Marksley 2.
We just want to know if he hooks up with the Rattlesnake King.
All right, I've got another question. When Rex Marksley 2 comes out, will it be now or later?
Well, Rex Marksley 2, what? Is it a song?
I don't know.
Rex Marksley 2,
It's a Calypso
still
song
the coolest cowboy.
with steel drums.
How is he a cowboy?
Okay, so
Where does it say in the song that he's a cowboy?
What do you mean?
He's not a rancher. He doesn't herd cattle.
Didn't you hear him say his name? Rex Mark. That's cowboy name right there. That's how you call a
mean-
cowboy.
Yeah, I guess. But
So just so people don't think that we're being mean, like, obviously there's a little tongue in cheek here. Obviously,
that sounds like this.
it's we if you want to write about Rex Marksley or make fan art or stuff, I don't know. I'd like to see more Rattlesnake Kings and stuff. You know, there's just so many characters in the song that you can go off of. Make your own little narrative.
Like,
And all the characters you don't know about that are in my head.
Yeah. But I would like to. I would like an itchy and scratchy
Like
type.
Rex Marksley's boyfriend.
Rex Marksley show.
You'll never get close to whatever the actual story is. So just if it's a fan fiction, go nuts.
So draw Rex Marksley's boyfriend. That's what I want to see.
Tex Marksley.
Mrs. Spoons asks, "Are you happy with the way Patreon has been going?" Well, just Monty Python.
Yeah.
Yes, Patreon has actually been really great.
Yes, it's helped. It's helped all of our members financially, definitely, because we are working on new projects. Some of those might be album related and songs and stuff. And before the engineer tier site has always been good as well, but Patreon has definitely helped.
And if you move over to Patreon, that'll be great. But we're still supporting the engineer tier site.
Yeah, no, there's more people on the engineer tier site.
Next question is my favorite question.
You don't have to move to Patreon. Like, even though Patreon has the extra bonuses
We'll
because
keep
people pay more.
supporting engineer tier as long as there's people subscribed.
Yeah, there's more people there. I mean, to be fair, most people
Engineer tier. Yeah.
Most people use the engineer tier site as a way to support us rather than interact. And I use that with the metrics. More people go to Patreon expecting things, which is why we make the tiers higher. But engineer tier is a lot cheaper. Like, it's, what is it, $3-4 a month or something?
Either way, it helps, and thank you for your support.
My favorite question so far. I said that earlier, but I've now got a new one from Hoyden herself.
Hoyden!
Brian, dinos with feathers or without? And I'm going with 100%.
Because it's true.
Because it's true.
100% they have feathers, right?
That's kind of...
Have you seen the T-Rex that's done up like a giant baby chicken?
Yeah,
So cute.
could be. I mean, like the like reconstructions of like what you'd think a bear would look like.
I just
like that,
wonder if like the sauropods had them or if it was just the more bird-like.
Who knows?
I mean, yeah.
But I like that Jurassic Park before that,
Or like
whatever that crappy one, the newest one was. But the Jurassic World, they said, oh, dinosaurs don't even look like that.
Yeah.
But that's what people want.
Yeah, it's true.
So they strip them of their feathers genetically.
But like, does an Apatosaurus have feathers with the long neck and like it's a brachiosaur?
I don't know that all of them had feathers, but I think a lot of them did.
Yeah.
I mean,
I bet like
It's hard. It's just hard to imagine because we think of like birds and lizards and like how do you combine the two? But that's kind of what dinosaurs were.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think it's up for debate as like what they had because we know that most of them did. But
I don't imagine like animals that lived in the swamp areas like Brachiosaurus or whatever like would have feathers. Like,
are we talking about if creating our own Jurassic Park? Then we probably would just make them because people would
all of them have feathers.
All of them, even the ones that weren't supposed to have feathers, just give them
Just
feathers.
give them some feathers. I can get behind that.
I would probably say no feathers. If you're making a Jurassic Park ripoff, you definitely want people to think.
Well, there was some raptors in Jurassic Park 3 back when was starting to get popular. That one had like 3 feathers.
Yeah, like that's good enough.
Yeah. Cool.
Is it my turn now? We're gonna take turns now, right?
You're gonna take turns.
Yeah, but
Oh, right. Dude.
yeah, but my turn now.
Yeah.
I get extra turns because it goes back through the center.
It does.
Yeah.
Tax.
Hey, AF Taylor asks. No, their name is Rachel. Nope. Wait. Rachel Invisibunny asks everyone, if your characters were set in a noir movie, what sort of hairstyles and outfits would you pick for them? The spine would fit perfectly. The end.
Yeah. You're right.
I wouldn't want just one of those old 50s style hairdos. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I would have to go with like the old like doo-wop like swoosh back, like the like straighten my hair and like pull it back, and then like just the mustache because I've already got the little indentation in there, which is perfect for a noir. So I have like the swivel cab Calloway, and then the swivel thing, and then the bow tie. And I'd be like, I don't know what's going on because it's.
Do you really want to be that character?
It's the 19. Well, that's what I would be in a noir.
We would change it up. It would be me bursting into Bunny's office, like you gotta help me. My.
And I'm the police chief.
And I'd be like, put down that bottle of liquor, brother.
You gotta help me. You gotta find out.
I'm not pulling you out of this.
They stole my jewels of necklace.
You don't have jurisdiction here. You can't come around here messing up my case.
And then you play.
You're the best detective ever.
At the club.
You're the best detective ever, though.
This one's a little personal.
Find my jewels, rabbit. And then I faint on your couch.
Evil Betty. This is a little personal, but they say, as a trans woman with a voice that isn't what you'd call very feminine, I'd love to hear suggestions for ways to improve that. Yeah, I mean it's tough, but I was able to unlock a unique range just by pushing. I mean, I know it sounds silly, but you got to do Mickey Mouse voice when no one's listening. Woohoo!
And that helps. That helps stretch it.
Yeah, that's what I did every day in the morning when I was driving.
I almost thought you were saying you gotta get in there, have the quests to unlock.
I mean, also like I have a pretty like deeper voice. Like my normal voice can go really low, but I've lost a lot of range because I don't talk here very often.
Yeah, the voice is a muscle, just like anything else. So the more you stretch it, the higher you're going to be able to achieve
singing,
in a comfortable way.
The singing exercises are basically what you do. Like, and then when you're going to have like an amazing range, so like start singing. Might as well.
Yeah,
just start doing
it out.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Might as well become a pop star.
It's also like cadence and stuff too, more than anything. Like my use of like and you know, and there's a little sing-songiness with feminine voices that you can do. When I'm out in public or through a telephone, I get all like, oh my god, Valley Girl, because it's like I don't know, because telephones, it's easy to get misgendered on a telephone as a woman anyway. So thanks for the question. I hope that helps. 2 more questions and then we're done with
This is some rivers. How do y'all deal with anxiety on a day-to-day basis?
Anxiety?
Yeah, on a day-to-day basis.
There's so many different types.
Do you get anxiety, Brian?
I do get anxiety.
Yeah.
For sure.
What do you get anxiety about? Oh, I get anxiety about Steam Power Draft stuff almost in depth.
Work,
all
bills,
the time.
taxes, distractions.
For sure. I get anxiety just for being like out in public and stuff like that. Like, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, everyone gets anxiety. But the thing is, like, what helps remind me in most situations is that your mind is way worse than anything that is actually going to happen to you. Like anything that you're thinking about, like any argument that you're thinking about you're going to have with somebody, what you think about in your head is always 10 times worse than actually what's going to happen. You know, the reality of situations is that most things are pretty mundane, you know, and your brain can overshoot a lot of things.
It's good not to like put things off or like you need to deal with stuff, but like if you're there's really no ever a good reason to freak out about something except if you're needing to get that adrenaline to act very quickly in a life or death situation or something that requires it. So you can always calm down and think about things and, you know, don't put off what you need to get done or you know, if you need to address something, whether it be an emotional roadblock for yourself or something.
And also, to add on top of that, try not to overthink 2 things. Planning for situations only goes so far, and after that, you're just hyping yourself up to be anxious more.
Totally.
So, you know, you can get the basis out of the way, like, okay, this is how I'm going to start a conversation, but don't try to plan a conversation out with someone
also,
or run it through your head too many times.
I used to be more socially anxious, but then I found Lexapro, and now I'm a very social creature, and I don't have hang-ups about talking to people or anything. So, you know.
So I want to answer any of the ones that came in after we started the podcast, because I think we did a lot. We did a lot today.
Are there more?
Yeah, there is. Too many to do.
But you can feel free to add those for next month, and I'll put a thing like that's the end of the questions for this month because we don't want it to keep growing as we keep doing it. Plus, because we haven't talked about the most important thing today. The Game Zone.
Except we're all at a time.
The Game Zone, brother. We have enough time.
Snap into a Slim Jim.
I thought we were going to go till 12:57.
I don't know. We started a little late.
The Game Zone.
What's up with the Game Zone? This
Wait,
week?
I thought you said about the questions that were asked before.
So what's your
What were we gonna do with the questions that were asked after?
Next.
I'll go next.
next time. Okay.
Next Bennettarium.
So like, what game announcements are you like excited about?
Oh, none.
What?
I
None?
don't know.
What?
No, I don't know. There's a few, maybe. I don't
Yeah.
know. No Man's Sky's getting VR
Okay.
implemented.
All
That
right.
might, it's
When's
okay, I might
E3?
see that. July. July.
July?
One of those. I think it's in June.
I'm excited about. No, there's no games I'm excited
Maybe Blizzard
about.
will announce that Diablo 4 finally.
Okay.
But probably not. There's no.
I'm not
I
interested
see
in any games.
some like progress going on, like with Star Wars and EA. Like they're trying to like get out of that and get some of those old school games going.
Old school.
I like read some article about that, but I don't really
Like what, like X-Wing or something?
no, like Knights of the Old Republic and stuff like that.
Oh, like revisiting that. That might be good.
Yeah, but like trying to get out of that EA.
The live
Zone.
service stuff that's kind of like on its.
I mean, one can only hope. One can only hope.
Path of Exile came out PS4. That's free to play game. Diablo kind of clone.
Uh
You can play that.
Division 2 has been kind of fun with friends. It's a pretty solid game.
huh. Anthem has been the worst. It's just the worst. It's so bad.
It's going to take
It's
a
the
long
worst.
time for that to
so
get reach its
frustrating because
potential.
it's so much fun, but it's just the worst.
It
And they
has
didn't think
nothing
about
to
anything.
offer.
And every patch they make, they're like, we'll fix this thing. And I'm like, you have fixed nothing. You fixed nothing, and everything that you have fixed like could have been fixed from the get go.
Yeah,
It's a very frustrating game.
pretty disappointing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's like, it's not like, oh my god, this is a garbage game. It's that it's void of.
No, it's so much fun, but there's so like
It's an
little
inch.
care.
It's an inch. It's
in
a
it.
mile wide and an inch deep.
Oh, man.
If it was like, I don't know, it's just not ready for. It wasn't
Yeah.
ready to be released. But
Felt like they were just gonna be like, all right, we'll release it, and then we'll just keep throwing DLC at it forever, and then
That's
keep
kinda
raking in the money.
what these AAA studios are trying. They do. They release these half-made games, and then in 2 years or so, they're playable and better. But like
we have.
they don't care.
Yeah, we start seeing a lot of those with those kind of
Like, why not just say it's early access instead?
Yeah.
If you're gonna do that anyways, like just say early access and then release. Then I would have been like, oh, this is pretty good for early
Yeah,
access.
that would have been a cool way to develop the game, But it's like,
and they could have got feedback like, hey, you need more content because there's nothing here.
it's frustrating. There's no challenge either because it's like once you beat it, now it's like you can only play like the same 5 levels over and over again. There's no like you can't.
and they're like,
compete
good
against
news, we released a patch so you can play any of the story missions again. You're like, great.
Oh,
no, I don't know, or the contracts or whatever.
So you gotta sit through the cutscenes of it again. You're like, I don't want to do this.
I think they did the contracts, whatever. Anyways, Crash Team Racing Remaster, that'll be interesting.
Okay,
I heard
cool.
that they're, not that it matters, but PlayStation people get low polygon versions of skins to put on those. But also they're going to put some of the PlayStation 2 Crash Team Racing tracks into the remaster. So there's going to be more tracks in the original game. Which is always fun because if you like Mario Kart, Crash Team Racing
Well, that was a great one.
did it better
Yeah.
in between some of the Mario Kart games.
Yeah. Well, in the like the Diddy Kong era of racing games, right? No.
I think Mario Kart borrowed a
Diddy
lot of.
Kong, I can't remember that
actually
one.
borrowed some of those mechanics from Crash, the slide and boost and stuff.
Yeah.
You know what?
I don't remember Diddy Kong.
I would really like there to be Castlevania on the current consoles. There's only like one on PlayStation 4, and it's like I can't wait for like the Nintendo Arcade to bring Castlevania or
Like
something.
the old school ones. Or?
Yeah, or even just some new ones. Like the Castlevania games are actually pretty fun. Even the 3D ones, I wish they were more accessible on
I
console.
played like one 3D one.
They're all right. They're
Yeah.
just
I used to love that game though.
it's fun.
Back
I
in the
don't
day.
know.
Did you watch the Netflix series?
Yeah, I haven't watched season 2, but
Yeah.
it's so good.
I liked it a lot. Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
It's
It's
so
really
good.
good.
You should watch it. It's so good.
Let's see. New Monster Hunter expansion coming out in August.
What's that about?
Ice World.
Any
Ice World,
new
Ice
weapons or anything?
World.
Yeah, they haven't
Oh, yeah.
announced anything, but it's gonna. They say it's a
Is there
big expansion.
a new
so
hammer?
probably.
For
Who knows?
a bone hammer.
We got
They got slot.
we got
Oh,
Borderlands
They have
3, but I'm kind of done with that series, so I don't really
No.
care. But I'm sure it'll.
It's hard. It's hard to want to play the Gearbox games
Yeah.
with histories of.
What's
Yeah, but we did play a lot of Borderlands when we were making album 1, so
Yeah,
it's
well,
always
the
near and
first
dear
one.
to
The
us.
first one. Yeah, we played it when we were pretty much finishing up with album 1. What else? Nintendo. There's a rumor going around that they might have a Pro and Lite version of the Nintendo Switch come out. So a more powerful version of the Switch and a cheaper version of the Switch.
There's that new Pokemon game that's going to come out, Sword and Shield.
This is all stuff in the future.
None
Nothing
of this,
recently. I don't.
I'm not
think.
interested in anything that's coming out. I'm just like, there's
Rage.
nothing.
Rage 2 looks okay, but I'm not super big on first-person shooters.
Yeah, me neither.
But we'll
I
see.
just see nothing. I'm like, I don't care about.
But
any
it
of
is from the
this.
developers of the
Yeah.
Mad Max game, and the Mad Max game was pretty fun.
It was fun. There's some of the mechanics on there I didn't like.
Yeah, pretty much getting out of a car was not
Yeah,
great.
yeah,
it was
which
okay,
is,
but it wasn't great.
Oh, Mortal Kombat. The new Mortal Kombat game's coming out.
That was fun.
Some people are excited about that. I don't know. I like the Injustice
Fighting-
series. Okay, so
Here's the thing: is like they're not. There's no complication in there anymore. I feel like they made moves too easy. You know,
Really?
like all the fatalities and stuff like that. I'm like,
Well, yeah, you just hold down the
yeah.
for Mortal Kombat.
X-ray
Uh-huh.
moves or whatever
Yeah.
those are called.
Yeah. Combos.
Depending on how the reviews go, I might
But they
pick it
still
up.
have all the other ones. It's just that one you can build up and
If you're not a
That's
fan,
true.
if you're not a fan of the Injustice style, it's the same. It's the same thing. So, but
Injustice
I like it.
isn't as
Okay.
gross, but
Really? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But it's the
That's
same.
not
Pretty.
violent.
It's pretty much the same
no,
game.
Superman doesn't. They don't go. They don't go.
I mean, they get pretty
It's
nasty.
it's
you know?
pretty much the
they
same
don't,
game
They
though.
don't go, do X-ray. And
It's very
see it.
cartoony
Yeah.
though. Yeah.
Yeah.
But people get blown up
Sure.
in Injustice.
Well, there's a lot of there's games
No, there's not.
sometime, and we'll play them someday.
Cyberpunk, maybe.
Yeah, apparently that CD Projekt Red said that's going to be a big showing at E3. So
I'm stoked for that one, just because I want to see what they do next. I feel like they're putting in a lot of effort to it.
yeah, they said they had 2 games that are going to be coming out before 2020 or
What? What's the other one?
They haven't announced it. So it must be a side project. I don't know.
Elder Scrolls 6.
No one knows when that's coming.
Blades is in early access.
Oh yeah.
If you signed up when it first was announced in October, they said that you did get access now. But I
They
got
said it- Mm.
access. I've been playing it a little bit. I think people are gonna hate it because it's
mobile.
It's very much for a phone, but I'm fine with that because it's not gonna be. It feels enough like an Elder Scrolls game. It's just like, what are you expecting on a phone? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I wish the combat wasn't so simple, and the skill tree
Yeah.
is very simple too.
but whatever. Like,
Because I mean, they let you play with the virtual joysticks, and apparently it's coming to PS4 and PC, which is kind of weird because you're like, well, it's not very in-depth
Yeah.
controls, but I guess it's kind of cool that you can
Graphics are
cross-play your
good,
characters
you
on
know,
different
like-
devices, but
stories, it's all text.
I
and
don't know, the models look a little.
It's all right. There's nothing. It's early access. I'm sure which is good because they need to get feedback. But yeah,
I don't play too many games on my phone now.
I don't play any games on phone.
only when I'm like in bed usually, like
I
at
should
night.
say I don't play any.
Yeah.
I have games on my phone. I just never touch them.
I usually play card games on my phone.
I just have Jurassic Park. And I watch that movie again and again.
Again and again.
Movies. Let's go to the movie mode.
What came out this month? It was mostly Captain Marvel. And
I saw Us, and y'all haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it yet.
and it was amazing.
I know,
It was
I
really,
wanna
really
see
good.
it.
I don't know if I can sit through a thriller.
It was really, really good.
Thriller/horror.
Lots of good discussion after it. I was like, I want to talk about it with somebody, but
I want to watch it.
and nobody's seen it. Saw Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel. I saw
Yeah.
that. Pretty lukewarm on that one.
Yeah.
I liked it all right, but it wasn't like my favorite.
The character arch was non-existent, which is unfortunate.
I think it was open for debate. I think it was Marvel's weakest movie.
Yeah, you said that.
Really?
But-
Because
but-
Dark World is pretty.
Yes, but you have to if none of these movies stand on their own. They're all pretty much all the ones that are coming out. They're kind of like they're supposed to be strung together. You have to watch them to see the next movie.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So in that sense, you're like, well, if it wasn't part of the Marvel movie, maybe it would have been a mediocre movie to me. But I think it was. But I think as far as like in the grand scheme of things, I think it was their weakest one.
Man, I don't
know. Ant-Man and the Wasp. Like, that
No,
was,
you're right. That one was pretty.
Ant-Man and the Wasp and Thor: The Dark World are the ones I
Yeah.
really just didn't care for. There's not to say that there's not good moments.
I would
in there.
say for me, I would say. Because every time I see a list of like, oh, put them in order, I'm like, I never agree with anyone.
No.
But like, because obviously we all have our different opinions. But I would say Thor: Dark World is way more interesting than Ant-Man and the Wasp or Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
And I would watch Ant-Man and the Wasp even with its flaws over Captain Marvel because Captain Marvel
I
is
wouldn't. Captain Marvel was fun.
is like
it was fun.
Captain
See, I
Marvel's
didn't
up
have
there,
any fun.
like I think the. I'm trying to think like which ones I didn't really like. I would say Captain America is right above Ant-Man for me. Like I liked it okay, but the end of the movie is just kind of eh. But like Captain Marvel's right above Captain America.
what? No way.
The first one?
It's just I'm looking at it like, was I entertained? what
The scrolls
was
were
there?
interesting.
How was the script?
I mean, yeah, but
I don't know. Everything about it just screamed like they wanted to tell a different story, and they didn't.
My favorites
You know?
are like
It's
is gonna
unfortunate.
be Thor and Thor Ragnarok and like
I mean, they're all pretty down there. None of them are. I mean, it's debatable which one is more entertaining than the other. But I mean, because Captain America is like,
Yeah,
and obviously it's
cheesy. Captain America is a cheesy movie.
yeah. The Winter Soldier is definitely.
It's
gonna
much
take
like
the cake
Spider-Man
for
1.
this.
You know, like
I thought the
original
beginning of
Tobey
Captain
Maguire.
America was great, like establishing the character.
Yeah, but then
stuff.
after that, it's just like, what is going on?
But I think my biggest thing with Captain Marvel is that it's not like, oh, what a terrible choice. It's more that, wow, this is a wet blanket. But also
yeah,
because I don't have any feeling for the character.
I mean, anyone could have played that character, which is like, you know, it's like. My cousin was telling me about this the other day. He was like, anyone could have played it. Like, you can't see anyone else playing Iron Man. You can't see anyone else playing.
I think they played it way too safe because they knew it was the first female,
But
yada
here's-
yada. And they're I don't the writing. I think like they had some things there. Like especially as a woman, I'm like, okay, I see what they were going for. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
and,
it
like,
all-
but it's just not enough. It's just it's not all at the same time on the nose, but it just kind of goes boop.
Yeah, the script was
Sexism.
fine, but I felt the
Sexism is hard to
execution
be
was
a
very.
They didn't focus enough on her.
But if we,
And like that's
I
that's
think
the
on
truth.
some- it's-
and that's Brie Larson. Okay, like that's not like a bad. She's not a bad actress. She's an amazing actress, and she's got charisma and talent.
I know
Right?
she's got or nominated at least, or did she win?
No, she won an Oscar.
Yeah,
She
okay.
won an Oscar. She was in Tomb Raider. She
She's
was the best
also
part of Tomb Raider.
writer, and
She's super talented, and I feel like
Director.
they every shot of her was like dismissed. Like her little jokes, were like, okay, now next. Like she was a side character almost. It felt weird, and I felt like they didn't focus.
Well,
on
here's
it.
the problem with any of these underdeveloped characters is it suffers from like the episode Star Wars Episode 1 or something like pick some traits of Captain Marvel to describe her, and you're
Yeah.
like, you can't because she's not. You can't. There's
She's
nothing.
human and Cree.
Because if you changed her voice and she said something certain ways, you wouldn't be able to say, yeah, that's Captain Marvel.
You know what was? We get a sense of who she was when the daughter and her friend tell her how she was,
Yeah,
and
but
I'm like,
that's so- that's
I'm just saying, like that's kind of weird because it's like you're telling your main character how they were, and it's like, well, if there's a sequel, they really need to give her more.
Man,
They need
Story, backstory, personality.
Where you had Annette Bening in there, okay, who was a very important character to her in her life and in her memories, and we never ever get a moment of them. Like,
but also a terrible
explain-
mother for leaving to go almost potentially
Bening.
get herself killed.
Annette Bening was the older lady, right?
She's older.
She was Marvel, right?
No, she's Marvel. Not
okay.
not
You're thinking
not
of the friend.
Not the friend. Yeah, that was terrible. She
yeah,
left
you're
her.
right,
Yeah,
you're
she
right.
left her
Okay.
only daughter to go.
Here's the whole thing.
I was like, wait, what? But
Yeah,
she
that was dumb. That was the
yeah,
stupidest part of the movie. Is
I
that,
agree.
Like, also, like, it was so obvious, especially after just as okay, it's not in the movie, but on social media and like all the fan art, and then the directors and the actors like pretty much confirming it that her friend and Captain Marvel are like lesbians, and they they didn't go there, and it's like,
Oh, yeah, not at all.
It's like why are it's just like why couldn't they just?
Well, to be fair, it wouldn't have made the movie.
It wouldn't have made a difference.
It would have
but
been
it's just
like
like
a nice milestone.
You know what?
but-
You know what? It would have had given me more character development. You know, and that was the thing. It was like there was nothing there, and they speak on it so many times. Like this story could have been about this. It could have been about this. It could have been about this. But it was about nothing. Like we didn't have any arc. We had no arc for her.
I could give some of it a pass just because I think like because it was all about like the fragments and memories and trying to make sense of them, and you got like little snapshots. I'm like, well, in the context of the story, we're kind of following her, but it's once again, it's like by the end of the movie, you're like, well, we only have some semblance of who she was, and like now we know her whole story, but we really didn't get a lot of whole personality because it's just her running around being like, who am I?
Yeah, and that's that's
I
not a
mean,
character trait.
yeah.
That's amnesia.
And at the end of the movie, without like giving anything away, they speak on what makes her unique, but nowhere in the movie do they try to prove it or make her confused about it.
But
and that's
yeah.
the most frustrating part. I'm like, you set this whole like this awesome moment up at the end, and never ever did you earn it. Like never did you earn it. Never did you even try to earn it or talk about it.
A good example, of how a misstep again, or I feel like with the Marvel movies, is something like Doctor Strange, where you watch the Doctor Strange movie and you're like, okay, I guess it was okay. Like I liked the ending and stuff like that, but then you're like, well, who's the character? And then you look at the Doctor Strange in other Marvel movies and you're like, oh, now he's a character. And
Infinity
and I'm
War,
like, why? How is he not a character this whole movie?
Yeah.
I liked in Doctor Strange. It's the same thing. Well, yeah, it's just that accent I can't get over. But I liked his scene where he's trying to recover from his hands and he basically like just totally like hurts the feelings of his fiance.
Yeah.
Like that was a good scene. It was like really intense and it was like, oh, that sucks. But yeah, I mean, you watch like even the cartoon that they made of the Doctor Strange. Yeah,
he is.
It's
so hopefully the Russos. Obviously the movie's already done. Maybe Captain Marvel gets more traits to be like, oh, I like this.
Where their characters are the strongest is when they're interacting with other characters, and you're starting to get like it's why like Thor and Loki, like I don't know, I think they're like some of the best characters because of the tension they have, and like every scene with them is like pretty.
Well, you know what?
Great.
Like Sam Jackson and her have some chemistry. It wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't think
there wasn't a lot there, but there's definitely some chemistry.
He didn't steal the show, which was a good thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like Sam Jackson with Brie Larson. It was definitely like the balance was there. It's just
agreed.
Yeah, I thought
there wasn't.
I think the writing was just there's so much they want to put on you and like so many little plot details, but it's not like a complicated plot. It's just like there's some of the decisions where it's like you're showing us an alien land, but you're not giving us time to digest it.
Yeah.
Like, man, we want to know about the Kree. Like what? Like there's things like you wouldn't know, like the blood transfusions, like that the Kree can adopt other races and species into their by transfusing the blood. And I'm like, well, like all that would have been great. Like to slow down and the cinematography was non-existent.
Boring.
Not
very interesting.
The one part I hated the most was I'm just a girl, that battle. Which is supposed to be like, I guess it's supposed to be empowering, but it was just so unnecessary.
You can have a song about empowering females without having
here's the thing.
Girl.
Here's trying to go 90s.
Here's what Captain Marvel, why it is the way it is. They wanted to appeal to a large amount of audience. People, there's already like the whole alt-right or the Men Too movement that just were like crapping all over the movie because she's like a feminist and stuff.
But
and it's
they
like,
weren't gonna see it anyways. And you know what? We shouldn't cater to people who like playing it safe doesn't make sense.
They played it
to
safe.
Me anymore. I don't care if they don't like the movie. Like if they don't like the movie, good. Never watch another Marvel movie again. I'll be much happier in the theater without you. Like don't play it safe. This is not the time in our life to play things safe.
They had two bits in the story, and don't listen if you're. I'm not going to spoil it too much, but there's two instances of like everyday things that women go through, and it was the one where the biker guy tells her to smile and he steals her, or she steals his stuff, and I was like, okay, like that was cute, but like that's not really.
It's just very cliche.
I would have and I also would have made it like more part of the point, like what about like. Jude Law's character, it's like I think we could have hated him more because like he is gaslighting her basically, and especially the thing at the end where she says I have nothing to prove. It's like, well, these are all great moments, but boy, that you could have had that strung through the whole movie.
Could have,
like with the tension there, but instead they're like best friends and stuff. And
it's a directing team, and it just reeks of like we have a female director. Where I feel like Wonder Woman was just a movie, and it was good.
It was so good.
It just suffered. It probably wanted to play it safe. They needed a token movie, just a token to say that they have this.
But also, it's like they
didn't take any
schedule.
Risks.
They need to introduce this character right before Infinity War comes out.
Well,
it was going to be whatever it is because that character's already in the next movie.
They also didn't know if they wanted to make it a comedy or a drama.
Yeah, and also from the
get-go.
Is Brie Larson's character, is she quippy or is she not? Because
I
it happens like twice in the movie.
I don't know.
And then she's like, "Oh, destroying personal property." I'm like, so is she a rebel or nope? She's nice.
They never gave her that chance to even change.
There was no growing. It was just like I remember. I have friends.
I know it.
I have friends, and I remember this little girl.
I know it was frustrating. It was frustrating.
I think writing. Yeah, it's just
because
the writing
I wanted to know. So I'm telling you, Brie Larson is a great actress.
But also, you want some type of arc. The arc in her
It was
movies.
non-existent. It
And
was
it's-
non-existent.
And you can't count the plot as the arc because, like, I feel like the alien did more growing because
Agreed.
we thought we like, oh, he's not as bad as we thought he was, which is kind of interesting.
But also, I hate when movies do this. They have misleading dialogue from the get-go. Like, why would he say all these things from the like? Don't try to mislead me. There's a billion ways you could do it with him actually trying to act noble at the beginning, like, but. They chose to be like, oh, he's a bad guy. Just kidding. Like, here's a twist. Like,
we do terrible things because of war. Like, okay.
Whoa, wouldn't that have been a great plot line for everyone to have gotten? Like, we do terrible things because of war. Like, she was a weapon, now she's not. But that wasn't a thing that we learned either.
It had some good ideas. I did like the twist. I did think that was the proper way to do it, just because we've seen we've seen the dark elves and all these species that just have no character. I actually like the what are they called? The Skrill. I actually liked the Skrill characters were actually pretty great, and the lead guy that did
he was great.
He actually had he didn't have an arc, I guess, but I just every time he was on screen, even when he was torturing her or whatever, it was all good. Fun. Like he was, I don't know.
Yeah, and nobody really knows about the Skrill. So
my favorite character though has to be Goose.
Goose. Yeah.
I mean, he stole the show for me. Like any moment he's on screen, I'm just like, oh.
Yeah.
It was a little too when he was it was too obvious when he was a CG cat and you were like, something's gonna happen because that's a fake cat. and that kind of sucks because I'm like, you could use a real cat right up until the last minute.
Yeah.
But anyways, I saw Aquaman, Justice League, and then Shazam last weekend, like in a row. Did anyone see Shazam yet?
No. It comes out on the 6th.
Well, I got to see one of the early screenings because sometimes they release tickets for those. It was good. Best DC movie.
I'm wondering how they're gonna. What is his name? Because his name is Captain Marvel.
When you watch the movie,
I think this is like a big like. Because Shazam was always a ripoff of Captain Marvel, so it's interesting having them come out at the same time, and then having
Captain Marvel wasn't even owned by DC until 1970s, and Shazam, Shazam I'm talking about, and it outsold Superman in the 1940s. It was
what? Did it?
Yep. It was because if you look at the Captain Shazam comics or Captain Marvel, like it's more geared towards like children and stuff too.
Yeah, of course.
It's almost like a Rin Tin Tin.
Yeah.
Is that what what is it? Not Rin Tin Tin. That's the dog.
The dog.
I'm talking about what's the guy with
the Lone Ranger?
Any of those kind of stuff.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Tintin.
The Adventures of Tintin.
Anyways, and then they started, because of trademark stuff with Captain Marvel that Marvel had, they started referring to it as Shazam. Like,
cool.
Since
it looks
the
good.
80s and 90s.
It looks refreshing. I am looking forward to it.
Really great because it's the only
you're
DC
saying
comedy movie.
You're saying it's your favorite.
I mean, Wonder Woman's pretty good too, but two different movies.
Yeah.
But those are up there, and Aquaman's not far behind. Justice
League,
bottom of the barrel.
What? Justice League's bottom of the barrel compared to what?
Yes.
Compared to what?
Aquaman.
Batman vs Superman.
That's not. I didn't like that one very much either, but it's better than Justice League.
Okay, all right.
Justice League was just a mess, and I mean, there's just so much went wrong with production and stuff. It's like,
I mean, I just saw all them because I never watched them. I'm like, I don't know, but then I did because I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
But
I think my favorite part of the Justice League was the Flash.
Yeah, but he's not.
But
not me. I liked him as a character, but I hated the way they introduced him.
Sure.
That's what a ridiculous way to.
It's
just they were trying to cram it all in there. It just
the added scenes were even the worst because the lighting changed. It made the costumes look fake, and you could easily tell. Well, because obviously I'm watching it in 4K Dolby Vision, but it's so obvious.
Steppenwolf and his baddies are the worst.
Steppenwolf,
the
what
villain
a forgettable.
is so dumb.
But it's not fun. It's not fun because then the next day I watched Aquaman and I'm like, okay, this is not a great movie, but it's really fun to watch.
But it's what also Aquaman does is like its story isn't going to win any awards, but it keeps to the hero's journey. I actually like Aquaman now as a character because in Justice League it's like, well, there's not much time to establish him.
No, not at all.
But Aquaman, actually, the underwater scenes are amazing.
And they spend a lot of time in every area that they go to, and there's 6 different boss fights.
The writing is pretty basic, and I thought Black Manta was
basic as well.
was kind of weird that he went out of this movie so fast, and They built him up.
Didn't make any sense.
None of the characters are like standouts. It's like, and to me that works because if you look at something like Captain Marvel, you're like, let's not shine the spotlight there because there's nothing there.
I kind of I liked the two leads in there, and like I thought it was pretty decent. Norman Osborn as what's his name as the mentor.
I mean, Willem Dafoe's anything.
The cinematography, what saves the movie for me, like even if the writing's not that strong, is the cinematography and the score. Because as the opening things, you're like, okay, this is like not a fairy tale, but like this is an adventure movie with like these big themes and like the lighthouse keeper and his fish wife.
Bigger than Justice League. Like
they built a world, you know, and much like Wonder Woman too. Like the Amazons was like the best part of that movie. You know, it's like you get this whole world and seeing that kind of stuff.
That was the best part of Justice League, by the way, was the Amazon stuff.
Even though it was a lot of CG stuff.
The Amazon stuff in Justice League was probably the best part.
Oh, yeah, I guess
they were like trying to get the...
That's right. Oh, yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool. And then the rest of the movie is like, oh, Joss Whedon putting a joke in. Like, Batman did not need to say that. It was just... I mean, some of it was obvious. Like, okay, that was supposed to be in there. Yeah. Except it was probably going to be desaturated and it was going to be green and it was going to be darker. But I don't know.
But it does get me excited for, like, the Atlantean, like, Amazon... like battles of like Flashpoint and stuff like that, which
I guess it's all standalone movies now, according to the DC people in charge or whatever.
They gotta let the bad taste of because Affleck's out. Like I think Henry Cavill, we don't know yet, but like there's rumors that they're gonna focus on Supergirl, which is smart. Like just they have to like they have to get other characters that are to fill the roles and just like
Martian
let it breathe.
Manhunter. Yeah. Like where is Martian Manhunter? Like
I've been waiting
for him.
Yeah.
Oh, I liked seeing in Justice League the Green Lanterns. You know, and they're like showing
and the battle
the flashback.
Of it.
I'm like, oh, there's a god, there's Zeus, there's.
So they can save it. I mean, the Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie looks really interesting. I'm kind of hoping like. Can we just get an older Joker or something? Like maybe are they going to fast forward and just put old age makeup on him? Because that'd be great.
Yeah,
because I know he's going to be amazing. Even if this, you know, it's probably just going to be a weird little movie that's like, oh, that was kind of good.
But those sometimes are the better movies. Like think of Wolverine one, that last one. Like it wasn't like super epic or something.
Yeah, it was really good except for the kids at the end.
Yeah, that wasn't. They weren't very good acting there.
And also they could have killed the villain like 25 times.
Yeah,
like you got him right now. Just kill him. Just do it.
I guess that's a good time to wrap up. An hour and a half.
Yeah.
But go see Shazam.
Go see Shazam.
And see Captain Marvel. Well, you don't need to see it because everyone saw it, so it already did it did what it set out to do. We got a female lead superhero
because
movie.
It's an original movie, and that's pretty cool. Go see that.
I'm excited for Infinity War. Infinity War. What's it called? Endgame. That's
guess we'll find out. Doesn't that come out in a few months?
Next month, yeah.
Next month, dude. We got Endgame and Game of Thrones. Endgame of that too. So many things coming to an end.
Who wants to sing us out?
I'll do it.
Yay!
Okay. Thanks for joining us on Bennettarium. Please support us on Patreon. www.patreon.com/ScenePowerGiraffe. That's how we make all this stuff. I mean, we don't do the Patreon to make these podcasts. These are just for fun. Obviously, we're a band and we make albums, shows, music videos. And see you next month. Okay. See you.
It was a podcast from Steam Power Giraffe. It was the Bennettarium. Oh, we talked a lot about movies and video games, but mostly we answered your questions on the Bennettarium. Yeah. Bennettarium. Yeah.
And we're done.
We'll see you next week, yar.
Yar, we'll see you the next time we need a landlubber to...
I said, yar, we're going to meet you next time in the Caribbean rum, the pirate game, the connect the IPAs.
We need a new pirate podcast with these characters.
No, he's Jamaican pirates. Yar.
Yarby girl.
Yarby. Feel the rhythm. Feel the rhyme. Get on up. It's Jolly Roger time.
Freaking me out. Like, look at that. It's like...